Everyone, it's Miss Wetzel here. Welcome back to math. Last time we were doing line plots and we were representing data with an X to organize it and show it more clearly. Today, we're going to move on to picture graphs. And I'm starting you off with some different colored squares with different patterns on them. And I want you to think about, I want to see which color I have the most of. So how could you show me that quickly with these squares that I have? So you might be thinking, oh, well, what I would do is I would put all the ones of the same pattern or color together. And when I did that, I'd be able to see which one I have the most of. Great, and it might look something like this when you're done. So I can easily see I have 6 of these red patterned ones. I have 5 of these white flower patterned ones, and then the black and white, I only have 4. And the reason I can see that is I put them all at the same starting line. With graphing, we call that starting line an axis. And if you don't have all of them starting at the same place, then you won't know which one you have the most of. Like I can tell I have the most red polka dot pattern because the line is long and it sticks out all the way to here. But if I took my flower patterns and I kind of moved them over like this, and like I moved these over too, it might be kind of hard to really see which one was the longest line. So I have them all start at the same spot. Just like when you're starting a race, you want to all start at the same spot. And I call this line that we're starting at, I call it the axis. Another trick, and some kids, they get fooled by this. If you space out your squares like this, and I put these squares really close together, now it kind of looks like I have more flowers than I do red polka dots. Even though I don't, I only have 5 of these and I have 6 of these. So you have to make sure that you're being really fair about the gap in between. And the way I like to think about this is just making sure that every square has a buddy. So like these all have buddies, these all have buddies, these all have buddies, buddy, right? They all go together, and then there is no more over here. So it's just these 2, and then there's no more over here. So it's just this one. So you can really see that they're all lined up and matching. Okay, now it's your turn to go ahead and try it. I'm giving you green, pink, and yellow. On your page, I want you to draw out these squares in an organized way so we can see which one has more. I want you to think about doing a starting line and doing your green, yellow, and pink. And if you don't have colors, that's totally fine. You can just write G for green inside of a little box, and then you can draw P for pink inside of a little box, and you can draw Y for yellow inside of a little box. Go ahead and pause now and draw out your squares so we can see which color we have most of. Okay, it might look something like this. I can see I have 5 green, I have 6 yellow, and I have 1 pink. Okay, when we show data like this is actually called a graph. Okay, graphs are just a way of ordering or showing information that's really easy to see and compare. And this is, like I said before, this is easy to compare because you probably made sure you had your starting line, right? And you probably made sure that it was even in between. So we can really see like, oh, there's exactly 1 more yellow than green. So it's super easy to compare. Now let's go ahead and add to our graph. Just like with line plots, we'll do a label and a title. Our label, we're just going to label what each row is. We've got green, this is yellow, and this is pink. And then our title is just going to be what we're measuring. We're just measuring colors of cubes, just seeing how many there are. And so that's our graph. You might notice that in the past when we've looked at graphs and line plots, they've gone up and down or vertically. This one's going horizontally or side to side. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. I could take it and I could flip it, and that's totally fine too. A lot of times we use graphs to see survey results. Remember, a survey is when you ask people questions about how they think or how they feel. And so for example, if I were to ask the class, what is your favorite season, winter, spring, summer, or fall? I could have each person come up and put a smiley face on by the one that they like best. So say one student came up and they like winter best. Oops, that person should have written it at the bottom. So let's say one person came up and wrote that they liked winter. Another person also liked winter. Spring, someone likes spring. Okay, someone's gotta like summer. Someone comes up and they like fall best. Another person agrees they like fall. A third person agrees they like fall. A fourth person agrees they like fall. Another person really likes summer. So each of these smiley faces represents one person. This is not 4 falls that we see. This is for people who like fall. So again, that's why our title's so important. Favorite season is the thing that we're looking at. So it's really important to use graphs to get to know people better and to understand. So we often ask questions about them. So for example, which season is liked by the largest number of people? My graph makes it easy to see. I can see that 4 people like fall. Another question that we could ask is which season is liked by the smallest amount of people? Seems like only one person likes spring. Okay, because I can just see one person on here. How many people prefer winter? Okay, 2 people, 1, 2, prefer winter. This graph makes it really easy to answer questions and understand our survey results. A really important question that is often asked is a question about how many more or how many fewer. This is when we're comparing numbers between each other. So if I said how many more people like fall than summer, that's where, okay, this is the same. I'm looking for the difference. So I can see 1, 2 more people like fall than like summer. So that's the more than. We could also say fewer than or less than. So we would say how many fewer people like spring than summer. Again, that's asking for the difference. 1 fewer person likes spring than summer. Okay, I would like you to pause and see if you can figure some out. Let's see how many fewer people like winter than fall. Okay, pause so you could get a chance to figure it out. Okay, did you say 2 fewer people liked winter than fall? All right, really nice. Another really common thing that people want to know when they're taking surveys is what is the most popular answer? The most popular means that the most people picked it. So in this graph, the most popular answer is fall. Most people's favorite season is fall. We could also say that's the most common answer. We can also use data that's in a table like this to draw a graph. Here's our exercises, but we're going to do letter A together. Letter A says soccer players in Mr. F's class. Likes to play soccer? Yes. 9 students said yes, they like to play soccer. No, they don't like to play soccer. 7 students said no, they don't like to play soccer. So I'm going to come onto my notebook, and you're going to do this soon, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to say yes, they like to play soccer, and no, they don't like to play soccer. That's going to be my labels on my axis. I'm going to draw my starting line, or my axis, and then I'm going to represent the yeses were 9, and the no's were 7. I have to represent that. I'll do a little soccer ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then remember, I have to make sure that each soccer ball has a buddy. I can't like make it look like it's more 7 is actually more than 9 by spacing them out. I would want them to match. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I'm staying even. 5, 6, 7. Okay, and we'll stop there. And one thing I forgot is my title. I don't have room at the top. It's also common to see titles at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to put the title would be soccer players in Mr. F's class. So I'll write that now. And here it is with the title. You could get that onto your page also. Okay, here is exercise B. You're going to want to pause here so you could create a picture graph to show shoes we are wearing today. This is an example from a class. Type of shoe, sandals, 7 students were wearing. Sneakers, 8 students were wearing. Dress shoes, 3 students were wearing. You could do whatever symbol you want, but I wouldn't spend too long drawing it. So you could do like a small square, you could do a little star, you could do a circle, something like that. and then you could show the graph. Okay, go ahead and pause now and try it. Okay, I got the graph all set up to show you how to do it. My title, shoes we are wearing today, and then my label, sandals, sneakers, dress shoes. I did this one going across so I could use the blue lines in my notebook to help me stay even. So that's a strategy you might use too. So sandals had 7, so I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did one oval for each line. I just chose a simple symbol. Let's see, checking to make sure. 8 had sneakers. Okay, let me draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I know it's right because 8 is bigger than 7 and it's 1 more than 7. Dress shoes was 3. 1, 2, 3. So if yours looked like that, you did it absolutely right. Great job. Okay, now let's look at some questions about our data, because the whole point of having graphs and data and surveys is so we can understand people better. It's pretty interesting. So I wrote some questions for you about our graph, and I'm going to read them and then you could pause and see if you could answer them. Okay, you could write it in your notebook. How many more students wore sandals than dress shoes? How many less students wore sandals than sneakers? And what was the most popular shoe? Go ahead, pause now so you could answer. Okay, if you didn't get to pause and write it down, I want you to do that because then I could check in with you later and see how your work is going. How many more students wore sandals than dress shoes? Well, I'm gonna have to compare across. I love these lines to help me. 1, 2, 3, 4 more, right? These 3 match, but there's 4 more. That's the difference. So 4 is my answer. How many less students wore sandals than sneakers? Again, that's a difference question. And I can look and I can just see that 1 student less, or 1 student fewer, I should say. What was the most popular shoe? Well, you can see the most popular shoe was sneakers. So I could write sneakers. Okay, the very last thing I want to show you guys is sometimes you can find missing information using your graph. So one example of that is if I said, how many total students were there that were wearing shoes today? Well, it doesn't say that. It just says dress, shoes, sneakers, sandals. But I know a total would be all of these kids added up together. So I could even write a addition sentence. So I could say, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 plus 8 plus 3. And I could find the total. 7 and 8 is 15 plus 3 is 18 students. So graphs can be really helpful for us to find information that seems like it's missing. All right, that's it for today. Make sure to check in with me on Teams so I can see how you're doing. And then there's some really great Khan Academy practice and other worksheets to practice after that. So check the link on your schedule to see what else you could do. Great job today, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.